Hey guys, today we have some underrated picks that we're going to look at. So stuff that isn't played too much. It could be like champions, builds, runes, setups that are just better than people think they are. And you can go into game after this video and have some fun with them. These are going to be my ones, but I'm sure you guys must have some better ones even. So make sure you leave them down in the comments and then we can have a look. So first up, Allowi. Everybody has forgotten this champion even exists. Riot doesn't show her any love. Not many people play her, but actually Kleptomancy is really good on Allowi. You can proc it with your E, surprisingly. Like, you know when you pull that ghost version of a champion towards yourself? When you hit that, it actually gives you Kleptomancy, which is really good. You're starting coin as well, which is also good. Kind of like a Gangplank or an Ezreal. Now, it's not quite as busted as those two, but that is exactly the same way that it works, right? She's never super popular, and some matchups are pretty tough. Apparently, like Temu and Sins, for example, are pretty rough. But against a lot of others, she builds like a massive gold lead with Kleptomancy and coin, and then she turns that into damage. Like, people never expect to have this ultimate do so much damage and basically one shot. Like, it could be team wide as well as AoE damage, right? Any Kleptomancy build is pretty fun to play as long as you can actually use it, I guess. So you should definitely try this out and mess around with it. I'd honestly say though, she's probably actually viable like in solo queue. This is actually kind of like a competitive build and actually pretty good. This next one started because a Reksai boosted me in solo queue basically. Like, she was top lane. She built full AD basically and just annihilated the enemy team while I did absolutely nothing as an AD carry, which was nice. So a bit of freeload there for me. And then I told people and they were like, yeah, Reksai is pretty good. So pressy attack synergy is actually really insane with her. This is what she was running as well. Gives her a lot of kill potential, especially as you go through the game. So Electrocute can be more for AD. So if you want to build a Dust Blade, I guess you can kind of go for Electrocute and Burst. But the thing is here, we're kind of used to like 2 damage item and then tank Reksai a little bit. That's what we had last season. But now we're like, we're just going to get AD, kind of pseudo tanky items. So we would get Warrior and Cleaver, Titanic, Guardian Angel, Sterix, and just keep getting damage and a bit more tanky at the same time. So you can dive in and you're going to survive, but you're really going to mess people up with this build. Now, your ganks are obviously very good and so is your farming. It's the same Reksai we were playing last season, but you scale a lot better into the game and you're still going to be a threat in team fights. You're going to be able to kill people really easily. I almost didn't put Corki in this video because he's kind of borderline underrated, right? People are starting to realize how good he actually is, but he is insane. Part of the proof is that he can take pretty much any of his popular keystones and he's going to win with it. Like, it's ridiculous. Fleet Footwork or Pressy Attack from the Precision tree, like both of those are actually going to be good. You have more auto kind of extended trades with that. Aerie has a slightly higher win rate. You can have more like poke damage and stuff. Kleptomancy is about the same as well. You wouldn't think that would be good on Corki, but apparently it is. Even Electrocute and Arcane Comet, seriously, actually work on Corki. It kind of shows you when everything is good on him, like maybe he's just like a tad too strong, I guess. Lane phase damage in your burst is really nutty. And remember, everybody's magic resist is a bit lower this preseason, so his damage is magic mostly. Even like his abilities are all magic, and like half his auto attacks are as well. He has really good roams though, which pay off more now in the preseason than they did last season. So last season you were going to be ganking a bot lane like Janna, for example, who could disengage and push you away. Now though, you have a Leona on your team who can set that up, and you'll be getting a lot more out of it, so you get fed. And a fed Corki is really scary. It's kind of that mix of burst and then crit damage on top of that. And I think he's actually one of the best mid laners right now, in my opinion. The next one is probably the most tilting experience you can have playing League. I think playing versus a Heimerdinger. The little guy is definitely underrated though. Rezone is the only guy I know sad enough to actually one-trick this champion. He must be happy right now. But it's another case of a lot of things work, which is really cool. So we have the poke style, Arcane Comet, and also Aerie as well. Like, the damage from that is really horrible to play against in lane because she's going to constantly pound you with it. Electrocute is good. I don't know if you've ever been one-shot by a Heimerdinger before, but it's actually a really sad experience, especially if you're getting one-shot. Kleptomancy though, as if like Heimerdinger wasn't tilting enough to play against anyway with his turrets and stuff, like he's going to get more gold every time he whacks you. A lot of games are more like lane focused right now. We have the early snowball, and Heimerdinger is like the god of lane control, right? You can take towers earlier because you're constantly pushing. You really kick people while they're down and you just constantly punish. It's really hard to play against. He never gets like a load of attention, I don't think, but both mid and top right now, he's actually really good. Depending on who you talk to, Kindred is either a beast or like kind of average, I guess. I think she's actually very good. Her damage is ridiculous at the moment in the preseason, with Pressy Attack especially. Like, she throws around a lot of percentage damage and damage naturally in her kit, the stacking and stuff as well. And a lot of it is on a 3-hit passive, so it synergizes really well with Pressy Attack. You actually can have Dark Harvest as well though, for more of like a nuking kind of late game scaling Kindred. I've actually been one-shot with a Duskblade Dark Harvest Kindred, which is pretty sad. But ultimate is very hit and miss, right? It can be game changing and so good, especially versus assassins, but you can also save people and really mess the game up with. It's kind of like a Bardo, I guess. The weird thing is though, normally when we have the build like for Kindred last season and stuff, we were going like Warrior or Blood Razor, Runans and like Black Cleaver, Frozen Mat. So it's kind of like utility and AoE damage as well as a bit more tanky. But now we're just going like straight damage. So we're going Warrior and then we're basically going into crit. Like it's more focused on bursting people rather than not dying, if that makes sense. You're not really the best versus like Jax and Xin and stuff like that who kind of just do the same job as you but a bit more tanky. But like anybody else, you're actually pretty good. If you play against Vlad, you will realize this. But like I noticed when I was looking for my career video, actually, he was like top 5 at the time or very close anyway. And he's legit, honestly, the worst thing to play against mid game at the moment, I think. Like with how much a resist is, we will have a bit lower. He has loads of spell penetration. It's really bad. But there are lots of keystone choices for Vlad, which is really cool. So we have like Aerie and Electrocute for our damage choices. Aerie is a bit more poke and like Electrocute is a bit more burst damage. Phase Rush is more of like the old style of Vlad. So you would go in, use all your cooldowns, you run around really fast and then wait for the cooldowns to be back up and then go back in again. But also Unsealed Spellbook. So this is the highest win rate, even though it isn't that popular. It's very good, but people just don't really know how to use it. And this is partly why I put Vlad in the video. I really want to talk about Unsealed Spellbook, so I tried to find someone who was using it. Like, people just favor damage, raw damage, right? But actually, Unsealed Spellbook can be really good. So you could run like an Ignite or a TP or something in the lane phase to start with. You can kill people with Ignite. You could TP to other lanes and get kills that way. So you get a lead at the start of the game. Then swap to a Ghost. So you have Flashing Ghost for team fights. And suddenly you're like set for the early game. And you're set for team fights as well. You don't necessarily need extra damage. But having the summoner spells is really big. Having as well Taste of Blood plus Ravenous Hunter is ridiculous. These are the two healing things from the domination tree. Vlad obviously heals like crazy anyway, so putting them both together is just insane. So this next one is 100% Riot's fault. Like they broke Yorick with the Q change in the preseason. So if you're going to play this, you might as well honestly just resub to WoW and go and raid. You're going to be playing PvE, you're going to be killing minions and pushing towers, and that's basically it. That's what you do when you play Yorick now. His Q is 130 damage base, okay? It's like 40% AD, 5-second cooldown, I think. That's before cooldown reduction, and you get some with Trinity Force. It resets your auto attack timer, and now it works on towers, okay? Leave him alone with a tower for like 20 seconds, and it is 100% donezo. Probably even less than that, actually. The Demolish Rune in the Resolve tree makes it even more fun. The one that damages towers if you're around it for a little bit of time. And plus you have like Sheen damage from Trinity Force, which works on towers. You have Sterox, which buffs your Sheen damage even more. You even have a Zizirot portal. That is what people are starting to build to take this to another level of cheese. It's probably the most legit, viable, but cheese and annoying troll build that you can actually play in preseason right now. I think his damage is actually still good though. You can still team fight, you can still kill people, I guess, but like nuking towers means that his entire team gets so much free gold, and that is really good in an early focus meta where we're trying to snowball. Now playing against Tahm is another very tilting experience, and the preseason is very good for him. So versus assassins, he can eat his AD carry and there's nothing you can do, right? Versus an engaged support like a Leona, for example, you can't really focus the AD carry because he'll eat them and he'll run away. You can't really focus Tahm because he takes forever to kill and the AD carry will kill you instead. Guardian as well, the Keystone gives him an extra shield. So he's going to have Guardian, he's going to have his Grey health, he's going to have his normal health bar. And that is a lot to get through when he's kind of tanky anyway. His damage is actually very good though. And especially in this meta where it's like very squishy. He doesn't really shred tanks, but like on a squishy champion, he can actually really churn out some damage, especially when he eats them. He's not the best versus poke, which kind of lets him down, but like as a counter to engage lanes, he's actually insane. He's really good. He's not overpowered or anything like that, but like definitely kind of, if you use him as a counter pick, he can slot into a lot of different teams. Now you notice we're already a decent portion through the video, but like I haven't mentioned AD carry yet, and that's not normal for me because I main AD, right? But actually, like how do you call an AD carry underrated when everything is played and there just aren't that many choices right now? I normally refuse to say Quinn is an AD carry, but I'm going to make an exception for the preseason because as an assassin AD, she kind of actually works really well. Now, I've seen a few Korean AD carries do this at the same time, so it's not completely troll, but it's more about the roam, kind of like a Twitch. And even late game, actually, you're better in the preseason than you were before because of the new keystone choices. So while AD carries are powering up, right, they get to one item, they are kind of strong, but not really like that strong yet. They still need kind of like the one more. They need 2 items really, right? Quinn only needs 1, Dustblade, and she's going to be able to kill you. So she can use that power advantage to actually snowball the game, which is really good. And then after that, we move into a crit build, so like Infinity Edge and Static Ship and stuff like that. So you actually have good auto attack damage, but it also adds to your burst. So you can burst people, but if you can't burst somebody, you still have good sustained DPS in a team fight and you're still kind of playing the AD carry role, if that makes sense. Late game, you have this very mobile AD carry that can kind of find people alone. You can one-shot, but you can also pump out a lot of damage. And also, you're blind, remember. Really underrated spell. It's crazy anyway, but for trading, it's very easy to proc press the attack on an AD carry because you blind them, and then you get 3 auto attacks for press the attack damage, but they can't actually attack you back. For me, Wukong is always underrated, I think. And there's this one Wukong main. I know he's going to comment. He always does, and he flames me whenever I talk about Wukong because I'm revealing his secret pick. So I'm sorry in advance, man, okay? A lot of really cool things you can do with Wukong, though, starting with his build, like the damage heavy side of it. If he gets close to any champion and they don't have damage heavy, they're not building armor, they don't have health either, they are 100% dead, and it's not going to take very long either. It's ridiculous. It's similar to Rengar, but Wukong is more AoE focused after the initial burst. So you go in with Dustbane and auto attack and burst somebody, but then you have this AoE ultimate at the same time. Electrocute is for your burst. Dark Harvest is a bit more like late game single target burst as well. But actually trying Predator on him is really fun. So you definitely have to do this. Get Moby Boots, get Predator as well. Run around the map super fast. But the cool thing with Wukong is you can come out of a bush in stealth, right? And because you're so fast with both those active at the same time, you'll get directly on top of somebody before your stealth wears out and they won't know what's hit them at all. You'll be on top of them, you'll burst them, and it's so good. It's actually really fun. He's definitely an underrated jungler, but he's also good for top lane. That is going to wrap up my underrated picks, but I really want to know what you guys have, and maybe it'll give me some ideas to try in my ranked games, maybe probably normal games actually. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it if you did, subscribe and join us here on the channel. But for now, I will leave you with the robots.